G'day, Cheers here. Welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be slightly different. I'm going to be talking about trucking etiquette. I'm going to review a couple American Canadian videos. Truckers over there, they're going to talk about their etiquette and their lifestyle a little bit, and I'm going to pair notes with my experiences and what we deal with in Australia here. This first part of the video is done happiest by a mile. It's always interesting to see what the other half live like and the conditions they drive in. Go check out her videos. I'll leave the links somewhere around so you can find her. Just get cracking.
Anyways, I figured now is probably a good time to talk about some of the things, trucking etiquette, especially things having to do with the truck stop, since that's where I am. Number one, when it comes to truck stops and the fuel island, generally, when you pull up to fuel, you have about 10 to 15 minutes in that space. And then for people who don't know and aren't like truck drivers, there's a line in front of the fuel island that you pull up to after you're done fueling. So that way you can go inside the truck stop and get whatever it is you need to get for the rest of your trip. And so generally, like, both of those spaces, you get 10 to 15 minutes in the island itself, and then 10 to 15 minutes in front. And if you're not fueling, you of course pull to the spot in front to leave the island open for somebody who is going to fuel. And that's just like a general rule that we all kind of work by. And if everybody works on that rule, then, you know, things go pretty smoothly.
This is the BP at Toowoomba. You can see the road trains come in the same way as the cars. Go to the left. Now, we don't have this other line, so we always pull in, fill up, pay for it. If we try to move, I reckon they'll be on the phone pretty quick trying to call the cops for a drive-away. They're usually pretty hot on that. So we pay for it, then we'll move on afterwards. Then we could park here in the parking bay, have our breaks what we need, have something to eat, go have a shower, whatever else we want to do. Some blokes even drop trailers off and bobtail somewhere else if they need to, but quite often the service stations don't like that. I can get a bit emotional if I see the whole yard filled up with trailers and no trucks, but it does happen quite a bit over the weekends.
Number two, since I'm in the truck stop right now, when it comes to backing at night, some things that some truck drivers do to help other drivers is to turn off their headlights when somebody's backing. So whether or not you're parked in a spot already, or you're that person who is still searching for a spot and have to wait for somebody to park in their spot, then turning off your headlights in a sense kind of lets that person know it's okay, like, take your time backing, I'm trying to help, you know, kind of thing. Like, they're turning off their lights so the person backing can see better, because it kind of creates a glare when somebody has their headlights at you, and it makes it hard for you. It's just a courtesy, because you can't see when somebody's bright lights are staring you straight in the face. Another thing about, like, helping park, my friend also told me that he turns on his marker lights to help somebody back. If it's like really dark outside and he's awake when somebody's backing, he'll turn on his lights to light up his truck so somebody can sort of see where they're parking. And I think that's also really cool.
We don't do backing in Australia. We do drive-through. Doesn't matter from what end. We drive in one end, drive out the other end. Doesn't matter which way we're going. It just saves a lot of damage on vehicles. And a lot of us are B-doubles and bigger. There is some single trailers, but quite a few of them, even around here, are still road trains. So it just makes more common sense, and just honestly takes less room to just drive in, drive out, instead of trying to back a road train in a spot, damaging other vehicles.
Another thing, so this will be number three, another thing that people do that's courteous is A lot of reefers will park nosed in, so that way other drivers don't have to sleep next to the reefer unit as it's running, because they are quite loud. You could probably hear that in my first video. I think there's a good shot there at the end where I'm yelling over the reefer noise. Anyways, if you've never heard a reefer, I kind of describe it like sleeping next to a transformer that's snoring. I guess let that image sink in just a little bit. And it kind of shakes you too, it like shakes your chest because it's such a low rumble. This is also good for people who drive four-wheelers too, and four-wheelers are another name for any kind of car on the road. So it could be a pickup truck or just a regular personal vehicle. We just call all of you guys four-wheelers.
Yeah, we call you four-wheelers here too. Any car of any size. Or we also call you a little one. When we're talking about overtaking, quite often the lead truck or someone that heads further down the road will say there's a big one, meaning a truck, or a little one, meaning a car. So quite often the lead truck will go, yeah, you can overtake after this little one. And that's what he means, if you're listening on the UHF.
One of the big things and most common things for us is if there is another truck passing us, we will turn our headlights on and off, or sometimes flash a truck to let them know that they have enough room to get over. And we do this because it is insanely hard sometimes, and especially if you're new, to tell if you have enough room, because we're so long. To be able to tell how much room we have between the truck behind us and, you know, how much room it is to get over is sometimes quite challenging. So you'll see us do this at night. And then the biggest thing is once the truck gets over, and this should be number 5 because it should be a totally separate point on its own, is using our thank you lights. So like we use either, I guess for people who drive personal vehicles, it's the marker lights on our truck. We have an ability to turn them on and off, and so we kind of call it like our thank you lights in a sense. So we just flash our marker lights at the other truck, and it kind of looks like we're turning our four-ways on to people behind us, because some trucks only flash like a couple of the brake lights, and some trucks are able to like flash all their lights.
Pretty sure she meant tail lights, not brake lights, otherwise you'd be brake checking someone. We kind of do the same thing. We give them a flash when we're clear to pull over. We use our blinkers quite often, 2 on the right hand side and 2 on the left and 2 on the right again, to say thank you. In daytime we leave our high beams on, including our spotties, so they can see us for longer, or we just talk to them on the radio and say, yeah, you're clear to come back across, and use your knowledge. Yeah, thanks mate, no worries, move on.
And this is important because it's acknowledging the effort the other trucker put into helping another one, if that makes sense. So like, it's important to communicate with each other and appreciate each other. So I think that's important, and it's actually becoming less common, which I find to be kind of upsetting to me. So please guys, let's be more compassionate towards each other. Another main thing that I think is extremely important is we put our four-ways on, or our hazard lights on, when we're slowing down significantly. So if we are on the interstate and traffic is coming to a stop for an accident, or just slowing down quite significantly, we'll put our four-ways on to let other trucks behind us know that we're slowing down, to give them time to slow down, because we need a great distance and a lot of time sometimes to get this truck to stop. So if you see us putting our four-ways on, that means we're slowing down, so you probably should too. And then if you are worried about the space behind you and there's a truck behind you and you want to let them know that we are slowing down, you can put your four-ways on as well, and that just helps us.
We quite often do the same thing. We put our hazard lights on, especially if we're coming up to roadworks or something like that. Quite often the lead truck will get on the radio, UHF, and gives everyone a heads up. Let's say there's roadworks, we'll be slowing down for traffic lights. especially if there's a big convoy or happening. It just makes the road a lot safer for all of us.
So another thing that we do, just truck drivers in general, we move over for anybody on the side of the road. So no matter what it is on the side of the road, whether it's an emergency vehicle or not, we move over. So especially other trucks. We are very big vehicles. We also take up all of the shoulder. So when we pass vehicles, you can feel it in your chest when you get passed by like a big truck, because we just have, it's a lot of weight moving beside you, and it's also very scary because we could potentially hit somebody on the side of the road very easily. So if you see something on the side of the road and you see like a truck in front of you in the slow lane, back off and flash your lights at them. Let him or her know that it's okay to get over. You know, showing that you understand what they're trying to do helps a lot. And
quite often with us, we're on the UHF warning each other, something upcoming, yeah, slow down or whatever, especially if it's around a corner or something. That's why we always have the UHF on and always on channel 40, just to give each other a heads up.
then that's another reason we would like flash our marker lights or our thank you lights. Last but not least, we like to look out for other drivers. So out here we're a family, so when it comes to merging or helping other trucks get out of the way of things, we tend to slow down for each other and signal each other to get over. So if there is a significant traffic jam where there's a lot of merging happening, you will more than likely see big trucks let other big trucks in. And for this, I find is very awesome because, you know, we can rely on each other. But also when I come up to like a merge area, considering that my vehicle is so long, I tend to let in 3 or 4 cars at a time, but only if y'all keep moving, you know, because we can't just sit there and stop traffic. But, you know, if you guys move up, I generally let in 3 to 4 cars just because it keeps everything going, because waiting for the large vehicle to pass, you know, it takes time. And anyways, I think it's a good rule of thumb. So, and I think I have just one honorable mention for this video, and that would be trucks going the same speed and trying to pass each other. So when you hit a truck that goes 65 and a truck that goes 66 passing the 65 truck, the 65 truck, I believe, should be courteous and slow down and let the 66 truck pass, because in the end he's going to pass you, but he's just holding up traffic. And we can, you know, be good to each other by, you know, I guess speeding up this process.
Mostly here on dual lane, she's pretty much all for itself, but out on the open road, especially the country road where you only got one lane either way, and it is quite dangerous for overtaking. Quite often the faster truck will call up, ask to come around. The truck's been overtaken, will quite often slow down and let the other truck pass and get back in as quickly as possible. This is done by Big Rig Pro. Now, I'm quite jealous what the Americans got over there for showers and toilets, compared to what we got. It's like a motel room, but it costs you $14 to go have a shower. Then you get handed a docket and a PIN number for your shower when it's ready. Apparently it gets cleaned after every person, after they use it. We're here, we definitely don't get bath towels, for starters. We've got to bring our own towel. Quite often we've got to hand our truck keys over. Guessing so you don't lose their key. That's what the point of that really is. Quite often there's not like 17 showers, there's only 3 or 4 if you're lucky. All up to different standards what we've got. And quite often we've got to mop our own floors afterwards. This one here is in actually Kingaroy United Service Station. Now, believe it or not, it's only the one shower and it's in the disabled toilets. So once again, it's not too bad. I thought this one was reasonably neat and tidy for the age of the place. The place looks like it needs a bulldozer through it, some of it. But the shower was warm. Okay, the water got everywhere. That's why they got mops. This one's at BP at Toowoomba, the big truck stop there. It's probably one of the better ones I go to regularly. So, usual story, got to hand your key over to get a key. 3 showers at this one, and you got your washing machines and whatever else, dryers. And yes, there is a lot worse showers than this. There's some of them I have actually walked into, had a look, turned around and felt cleaner already. Just didn't even bother, walked straight out. There's a lot of these places are turning up. I've noticed in Queensland anyway, and New South Wales, but basically self-serve service stations. The bigger companies put it. Toowoomba's probably got half a dozen of them, including the regular truck ones. If you got a account with a certain business who's got one of these self-serves, quite often they've got toilets and showers. You need an extra key or a swipe card to get into them. It just stops general public getting into them. We've got a lot of these breakdown pads along the major highways, mainly because you just can't drive into the local capital cities and take your road train through there. They get a bit upset, quite emotional apparently. So along the ways, because there's different stages, especially in the top end, the size of your road train you can have, anywhere up to 5 trailers down to 2, they have got these breakdown pads, and they're also outside of a lot of local big towns or small cities. So if you need to take a cargo into the local businesses, a lot of them are not road train approved. So this is one place, one of these breakdowns outside of Toowoomba. This is leading up to the weekend, so a lot of trucks will be start to park here and go home. A lot of local truckies like myself will drop the road trains off, the trailers off, and drive the prime mover home. Some of them will be heading down the mountain into Brizzy and getting themselves sorted. There is also another breakdown pad further down now, so this one's not as full as it usually is. Now there is no lines, and don't know the rules. Basically comes down, monkey sees, monkey does. A lot of the time the road trains will park in the middle, even the B doubles, and this edge here is all the single trailers, or the B doubles will park along this edge as well. For the blokes who really know how to back a trailer, and they will put a road train here as well. Sometimes there's another spot for dollies. Some of us have slept there quite often. You see several trucks, or drivers sleeping there in their trucks. So I've done a number of times. It saves me disturbing the family late at night and early in the morning if I go to leave and only get a few hours sleep. This is the toilets. Quite often you see something like this out in the open highway. Good old long drop, environmental friendly toilets they're meant to be. Smells better than some of the service stations I've been to, unfortunately. Alright, can everyone please be safe on the roads? Take it easy, look after each other, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.